Welcome to the Angel Investors Network podcast, the first national angel group founded online in 1997, dedicated to perpetuating free enterprise, capitalism, and supporting the American dream. In addition, Angel Investors Network is the organization behind the powerful Mastermind Investment Club, dedicated to harnessing the philosophy of a mastermind to increase success with their investment portfolio. Cliff Locks is a serial entrepreneur with 3 successful exits and an angel investor. On the podcast, Cliff brings together the most successful privately held companies in America to share with you how they grow their businesses, and you can too. And now, here's your host, Cliff Locks.
I'd like to welcome John Bennett, the Executive Director of Sunny Days in Home Care, to the Angel Investors Network podcast. Your company has enjoyed some great growth. Let me share a few highlights. You're on the Inc. 5000 list with close to 200% growth in 3 years. The company was founded in 2011, and you currently have 684 employees. That's impressive growth and an amazing headcount. I see your team acquired Daily Care in 2017, and you created a franchise model to expand Sunny Days to reach a great number of people in need and grow your market area. John, you recognize a significant need for in-home services across the country, and Sunny Days is incredibly passionate about providing these services as you continue your well-choreographed growth. John, our podcast listeners are successful and interested in both how you continue to enjoy life in their homes by aging in place. For example, my dad is 90, my mom is in her 80s, and they're living in their home I grew up in close to 60 years ago. I can see your business model is playing an important role when you look at the demographics. They're in your favor, as there are 64.1 million baby boomers, which now account for 22.9% of the U.S. population. Baby boomers were born between 1946 to 1964, so the youngest baby boomer is turning 54, and our oldest is 72 years old. The data came from the 2017 Census Bureau report. John, how'd you get started?
Thank you for having me here. I want to first off say that. And we got started back in 2011. Our founder was looking at the business, and he actually was in home health sales, and just saw that most people were kind of out there for the dollar, which is important, but there weren't a lot of people in this space in our area that were focused on really meeting the client's needs. And here at Sunny Days, our motto is that client care is priority one. And that's kind of what we built the business on, making sure that, mom or dad or grandma or Aunt Susie or, whoever it may be is getting the kind of care that they need. They're getting matched up with somebody that fits their personality, that's able to just provide them what their desire is. And we really focused on that relationship, and, we have great customer service, and the money will follow that. So that's kind of how, it came about. And, we started off pretty small. Started out in the upstairs bedroom of a house, our founder and his wife. And he did all the front end growing the business, and she did payroll on the back end. And we've grown to the point where, we have over 600 employees. We have about 30, admin, about 10 people in our office now, and I'm actually in our own office space now. It's been kind of a crazy journey since 2011 to get to this point.
Well, when you look at your career, how'd you get to this point on your own? In other words, you part of the team.
Yeah.
It's just amazing, the growth.
Yeah. So I used to be a educator. I was a high school statistics and math teacher, and I also had my own asphalt business. I started back when I was in college, and had done that for a while. And my in-laws actually started the company and talked to me about possibly getting involved and seeing if this was something that interests me. And because of my business background and the training aspect that's involved with this, with my education background, and said, hey, it's something you want to give a shot. And I said, sure. Teaching doesn't pay a whole lot, but I have a passion for doing that. And I thought, well, instead of teaching seniors, I'll get to teach senior citizens. So I kind of made the transition over for there, and I've kind of applied some of the business aspects I learned myself with my own asphalt business, different industry, but business is business. And I've just kind of learned and grown it, and really kind of enjoyed it. It's been a smooth transition and something that I've become very passionate about. And here I am in 2018 and going strong and really looking at, figuring out different ways to continue to diversify our company and continue to advance it.
Excellent. So when you look at some of the factors that are responsible for the team's success, what do you see there? In other words, I see passion, good business model, a lot of growth in the market. What else really came together that allows you to continue this hyper growth that you have?
Yeah, so I would say just our business model. We're a lot different than a lot of our competitors. A lot of our competitors have someone who does staffing. And we don't have someone who just does staffing. We have people that live in the community that oversee kind of all aspects of the business. They oversee staffing, finding and recruiting caregivers. They can go provide the care. They also oversee the clients in that community, going out, doing the assessments, figuring out what their needs are, what their care plan is, and then the ongoing relationship between them. And that's really, really been a good business model for us. It's allowed us to expand in areas where we might not necessarily have a physical location, but we have that presence in the community, kind of like a little pod in the community that does everything. And that's really, really helped us because, we have a field manager, she'll go and find out that, this sounds cliche, but we come across this a lot, that grandma has, 6 or 7 cats. And we need to find a caregiver that's not allergic to cats. And, sometimes that's, that checks people off the list. You may have a great applicant and they're allergic to cats and you can't use them there. So that's just a small example, but having that presence in the community has really helped. Community members will come up to us. We have a lot of great relationships with just different, with schools, funeral homes, just anything like that's in the community that's involved, businesses, that they know we're there, even though we may not have a physical office there. And that's really helped us.
So the referrals are really, really important at this point. So somebody's leaving a hospital, for some care or something at that point, there needs to be a plan in place. They'll call you. Is that really where the growth is taking place? It's referrals.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's referrals and word of mouth. And if you think about it, if you ask yourself, you kind of take away all of the, is this caregiver a right fit? What's the schedule? What's the most important thing that you want when someone's going and taking care of your mom or dad or, family member? You want to make sure that they actually show up and that they're there.
Excellent.
And that's something that we pride ourselves on. We make sure that we are at shifts. And that's, we've really grown. We've taken some referral sources where, we've got different cases where they say, my dad's he's difficult to deal with. We've had a couple other agencies in here and, they don't last or they don't staff him. And we say, yeah, we'll take it. And, obviously depending on certain circumstances, but usually we'll take those cases and kind of win over dad and prove ourselves and make sure we're in there and we're staffing that shift. And that's really, making sure we're in there and we have quality people in there taking care of them. So, we like to ask ourselves, would I put this person in with my own mom? And if the answer is no, then we don't want to hire that person. And that's kind of been a good rule of thumb for us and really helped us out.
That helps me a little bit with the next question I have here. What are some of the most common mistakes you see clients making? Is it the children of that particular parent? Is it the dialogue between the two? It may be a little hard to ask for help. It's an interesting dynamic. How do you work through something like that?
Sure. So a lot of mistakes that we see are where the children haven't really approached mom and dad yet, letting them know that they need care. Usually the person who needs care doesn't think they need care.
Okay.
Not all the time, but that seems to be, a lot of our cases. And, we'll get called by the daughter and she'll think, hey, I want to get care for my mom. And they haven't talked to mom about that yet. So that's something that we've showed up in the past and, mom's like, why are you guys here? Obviously the children are there as well. And like, well, mom, we thought, you might need somebody to come help you out. And that doesn't work too well. What we usually recommend is whenever the daughter calls, we'll ask the question, well, have you talked to your mother about this yet? And if the answer is no, then we'll give her some tips on how to present it. And there's different things that you have to say to present it. And usually it's not, have somebody come help you. It's, hey, maybe you need somebody to stop by for a little bit and maybe there's some things that they can do for you. A lot of people don't want to feel that somebody has to help them out. And, that's kind of how we kind of ease into the situation without offending the person who needs care. So that's kind of a common mistake, is making sure they're on the same page. That's kind of a big deal. And then making sure siblings are on the same page as well. And we have a lot of cases where there's multiple siblings involved and, the brother may want one thing and the sister may want another, and then another brother may not think there's any care that is needed at all. And we really try to encourage, to get everybody on the same page. Or, 3 out of 4 siblings want nothing to do with it, that's fine. But the one that's involved make the decision. So you're kind of getting those family dynamics set up is one of definitely the challenges that we run into.
So you're really solving problems at this point. You're providing guidance, counsel.
Definitely, yeah. And it's just kind of learned. I mean, there's different, tips that we've kind of picked up on over the years of how to present it to you just deal with a lot of situations. And there's always going to be something new that you haven't planned for. But the other thing that's really fun is educating. This is the part that I really enjoy, is kind of educating these family members on the different options out there that can help pay for care. We get people that aren't able to afford care, and we really try to work with them. Maybe they want 12 hours a day of care and they can't afford that. We'll work with them, and maybe we go in 3 hours in the morning and 3 hours in the evening, help get the loved one out of bed, get breakfast made, maybe make a lunch that they can heat up in the microwave, and then we'll come back and help them, maybe get bathed and ready for bed in the evening. And that's half the cost to them. 6 hours in the day versus 12. We always talk to them about different opportunities out there for them to get paid. Was somebody a veteran in the family? Was a spouse a veteran, or do they have long-term care insurance? Maybe they qualify for some kind of waiver through Medicaid. Medicare is going to start paying here in 2019, depending. There's a lot of different unknowns in that, but it's going to start paying some home care as well. So there's a lot of different options out there where if, a family necessarily can't afford something, that we really try to work with them and figure out a way to get that plan in place, especially if mom or dad really need care, we want to make sure they get that care.
Very innovative. I mean, I've seen that in my own family dynamics at this point. So the idea of splitting up a day, the real needs in the morning and later in the evening it's a brilliant way. You guys are very it's humane. I mean, it's just a kindness.
Yep.
And it's just an amazing business model. I can see why the referrals are coming in very, very strong for your team. Let me ask you, going to the business side of it, how'd you grow so fast? I mean, just doing some great things in the market.
Great question. So really, making sure we have that customer service. And, part of the growth, I also like to think of I read a lot of stuff by Tim Ferriss. And I forget who you talked to, but they talked about kind of like a bathtub analogy. And you want to make sure that you keep that drain shut as much as possible with losing business as you're continuing to add water to the bathtub to grow your business. That's something that we really didn't lose a lot of clients other than your typical, unfortunate thing in our industry is we do lose people for death, or maybe they have such severe medical needs that they're not able to stay at home anymore. We don't have much turnover with clients. And that really helped us grow from, that aspect of it. And the other thing that's really helped us out is we developed our own app that's helped us be completely paperless. So, we have somebody that may be out doing a client evaluation 2 hours from our office. Well, they have to get that paperwork back to the office. We have to get it filed, get everything in the system. How does that happen? Well, there's a lot of drive time and everything else. And with our own app, as soon as it's submitted, it uploads to our cloud in the office. Our office staff is able to take it and run with it. And it's helped us be way more efficient, be able to get things started more quickly, be able to file everything more quickly. And that's really helped with not having to worry about that paperwork. It frees up our field staff to go out there and, grow the business even more.
So you built in automation on the IT side, which is really helping manage the growth at this point. So as the foundation is strong, you're really in a position where you can go in and continue to expand into other markets and grow out the franchise business and be confident you're going to deliver a very, very consistent, high quality product.
Yes. And that's kind of our goal, is to automate everything that can be automated, but we know the actual relationships with our clients, with their family, and with our caregivers can never be automated. That relationship is very important, if that's face-to-face, in person, or over the phone. So, we automate what we can, but the parts that shouldn't be automated or shouldn't be not personal, we want to make sure that that's where it's supposed to be.
Excellent. I ask all my guests this question, looking back, what would you do differently?
Yeah, I would say just kind of pursue the automation aspect sooner. With getting our app developed, that really has helped us just be more efficient. And I think it would help us lots. I mean, you think something as simple as if the state rolls out a new regulation that we must include in our paperwork, well, we have to go out into the field and get all of the old paperwork and get rid of it and make sure everybody has new paperwork. Whereas now, when we have everything electronically, I can just go in and make 1 or 2 clicks and you're good to go. And everybody has it right away. And that's something that we really started that in 2016, and I think if we started that maybe sooner, that would have helped us get grow more quickly up to that point. So that's probably the biggest thing I would say. Just kind of start the automation sooner.
Have you given any thoughts on being able to the industry is vast. It's across the whole United States at this point. That software that you may have there may be very welcome to, some of those that are not in the markets that you're addressing at this point, and another revenue stream. Any interest in on that end?
Yeah, we've talked about that. And that's something that I've looked into. That's something that I'm not as familiar with, that space of kind of, marketing and app that you have out there to, be another stream of revenue. It is something we've been very interested in and kind of thought about. It's something I need to just spend some more time looking into. Yeah, I mean, we've looked at expanding it even too. I know there's kind of the Uberification of home care, if you will. Okay. And, that has some flaws, has some great aspects to it, but that takes away a lot of personalization and trust. I've kind of looked into some different ways to maybe have that kind of on-call aspect set up, but while still having kind of the guarantee of an agency and having that trust there. And we've kind of looked at sort of adding that into our app too in the future. That is definitely something that, kind of started to pursue a little bit, but I need to learn more about.
Help me understand. In other words, are you looking for those in the industry that are to join to be a franchisee, or you're looking to train new individuals that have high net worth to become a franchisee? It's actually, from my point of view, compassion and giving back. It's profitable. Plus, you got this other side on the humanistic side that you're really helping society. Yeah. So great question. So we're kind of open to both. We've looked at both. It depends. If we have someone that's kind of converting to us from that aspect of an existing franchisee, why are they converting to us? What do they want to bring to us? What aren't they getting currently? And it comes down to if they have compassion. That you got to be in the business to have compassion. Obviously, you want to make money. But if you don't have really compassion for the elderly, it's kind of tough to get into it. Or maybe you necessarily don't, but the people that kind of run the show for you do. We've seen that and experienced that as well. But we're looking for that, and just people that are interested in coming in. It's a very profitable business. The demographics going forward, we have some kind of mapping software, and it projects stuff out through 2025, and it's exciting to see what's coming down the pipe. Even more, especially with people that we currently have that statistics show are kind of living longer, and we'll continue to get more baby boomers. So we're kind of interested in either aspect of it. It just depends. The person has to have the right mindset, and the right reason for coming into the business. John, tell our listeners how they can contact you to continue the conversation as an investor or a franchisee.
Yeah, sure. So two different ways. You can contact us at 724-260-5186. That is our office line, and ask for John. Or you can send me a direct email. That's John, John, at sunnydaysinhomecare.com.
Excellent. So I think many of our listeners will enjoy having this continuous conversation. I know they've got the wherewithal to have that dynamic conversation on investing to see what your needs are at this point for the continual growth. And then the other side, the idea of being able to build out a franchise to really help a community at this point. And the demographics, I agree with you completely. I was just amazed. We're looking at, over 22.9% of folks in the United States are baby boomers that are going to need services. All right, let me thank you for listening. You've reached the end of another episode of the Angel Investors Network podcast. Please feel free to contact me, Cliff Locks, on LinkedIn and angelinvestorsnetwork.com. We've been serving the needs of high net worth investors and entrepreneurs since 1997.
This show has been produced by Market Domination, LLC. To discover how you can have your own show completely done for you and turn it into a real published book and become the authority in your marketplace, go to www.marketdominationllc.com/podcast offer.